Okay, so we are going to learn the easiest way to how to write electron configurations. So how we're going to start it off is we're going to start off by making the simplest things to remember. First, you have to remember that all of these from there, all of those are going to be P. All of the transition metals are going to be D. All of these ones are going to be S. And remember, since helium is 2, because it was moved from over there to over here, this one is is considered S2. And then since these ones were pulled from here, only these two. Since this one were pulled from transition metals and brought down into here, these two are considered D. And all of these are considered F. So those are the main parts you have to remember. If you remember all of those, you're basically set. Okay, and then I'm going to show you the easiest way to learn this. Okay, so first we're going to go by the normal way to learn it, and then I'm going to simplify it even more. So imagine we're trying to find the electron configuration for oxygen. So for oxygen, the electron configuration would be, okay, so we're just going to count down. So it's 1s, 1s2, because you have on the first one you have 1, so then, and you're on the S, so 1s, 2s. So that's 2. So 1s, 2, because you're on the first one, so basically just think of first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, and so on. And then you're going to count down 1, 2. So 2 on the S. So you're going to put, because you're still on the first one, so you're going to put 1s2. And then you go on to the next one. So you skip over to D because you're not going over D, and you go to the P. But since it's in the second one, you would put 2 because you're on the 2, and to get to oxygen, you would have to go from 1s2 from this one and this one, and then you go to the second level, and then you go, since this is still S, you count other 2. So 2s2 because you have 2, so you would put in here 2s2, and then you go to the P, and you skip over the transition metals because it's not even in the layer, and you're in here. So you go to the P, so you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you would put 2 because it's still in the second one right here. Still in the second one. So you would put 2 and then P because you're on the P. So you put P because you're on the P. And then you would put P, and then when you count from it, it's P1, P2, P3, P4. So P4. And then that's basically how you do it. And there are some shortcuts to this which you can use. For example, you use the noble gases as shortcuts, which would be this row. So then imagine we're trying to get sulfur. So we would write S, and the electron configuration for sulfur would be, we're going to count again to practice. So we're on the first one, and it's going to be 1s12, so it's going to be 1s2. And then we're going to go the second one, so 2s2, so we're going to write 2s2, and then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, p6. And then we're going to go right here to the third one because sulfur is on the third one. So we're going to go to 3. Oh, my bad. In the P, we're supposed to put 2 because we're on the 2p6. So it's 2p6. Sorry. That's 2p6. And then we go back to the first one because we have to start, every time we have to start from this side. So then we go to the third one because sulfur is on the third row. So then we go 3s2, so 3s2, and then we go to the P, so it's going to be P1, P2, P3, P4. So it's 3p4. And that would be your electron configuration for this. But if you think about it, if you get the electron configuration for neon, for example, you would have the same configuration if you add the rest, because the electron configuration for neon would be, it would be the same 1s2, 2s2, and then it would be 2p6. So if you look at this one, it's the same thing as this. So the shortcut to write the electron configuration for sulfur would be to take the neon and you put it in brackets. So you put the Ne in brackets because you have the same configuration for that. And you can only do that for the noble gases. You can't do it with any of these. So you only use the noble gases. So you would put neon, so it stands for this, and since you still have these two left over, then you would put this 3s2 and 3p4, and that would be your shorthand for sulfur. Okay, this is the way to learn this. The other way, the cheat sheet way per se, would be there are tons of sources online that you can look at, and they basically simplify it for you. So, like in this one, if you really don't get this, and it's very simple, but if you really don't get it, it's understandable, and they have this too. They have periodic tables that are just like this. So if you look at this one, it tells you like the layers, like this one is D, this one is D, and it counts it for you even. So this ones are F, this one it tells you that it's F, this ones are D, right here it tells you that all of those are D, this ones are S, this one tells you that all of those are S, this ones are P, tells you right here that all of these are P, except for this one, which we said it was S2. So then, and if you look at it, it already counts it for you. So this one would be 1s1, 1s2, 2s1, 2s2, 2p1, 2p2, 2p3, 2p4, 2p5, 2p6, and so on. So if we wanted to write the electron configuration for these ones using the same elements, we could basically just look at it and then copy it down. So, okay, so we can do this. How many are in the first row to get to oxygen? So we would look 1s1 and then 1s2. So we finished that row, so we would just write the last one. So we would write 1s2, since this is the last one on the first row. Then we go to the second row. And then we go 2s1, 2s2, since that's the only ones that are in S, you write 2s2. And then you go to the P side, you write 2p1, 2p2, 2p3, 2p4. That is where oxygen is, so we would stop there, and you go 2p4, You get it from here, you got it from there, which is, you only add it, and if you look, it's the same electron configuration. So that's a shortcut. If we look at the second one for sulfur, the shorthand, we would already have, since we already know we can take the shortcut, we would just get the neon and write the shorthand for that. For sulfur, we would write the shorthand neon, and then we would follow through with it. So in order to get, we're already here, so we go to the third level. So we go to the third level since we already got the first one, the second one, so we already got the second one. Then we go to the third one, so 3s1, 3s2, we go right here, 3s2, because that is the last one that is shown in here, in this one, so we write it, and then you go all the way to sulfur, and you see that sulfur is right here, so you go down, and right here, and if you look, 4p, 4p2, 4p3, 4p4, 4p4. Oh, actually, it would be 3p4 because we're not in the fourth one for sulfur. We're in that one. So it's 3p4. And if you look at it, it's the same configuration as from this one, So if you don't get how to do it off the periodic table, you can always look at tables that are like this, like that simplify it for you, because it might be easier and it counts it down for you, so all you have to really do is follow through with it. But I would recommend knowing it this way because this is the way it's going to show up on tests or questions or anything. So it's really not that hard to learn, so you should try to do it this way if you can. I mean, this way if you can. And if not, then you always have backup. So that's it for electron configuration.